When I was at COP15, I met a really great person, Indigenous leader and chef Marlene Hale from the Wet'suwet'en Nation in British Columbia. Today she and I are going to make bannock and talk about her work fighting biodiversity loss, climate change, and systemic racism. Hi Marlene, we met at COP15 over the cookie, a slab cut from an old-growth Douglas fir tree over 750 years old. You were there with it to say deforestation is not only a risk to biodiversity, it is also a climate risk, posing a direct threat to the rights of Indigenous peoples and the planet. But today, after more than 2 years and 1,100 illegal arrests by the RCMP since the province said it would review the logging, ancient trees are still falling across the province. Can kids do anything to help?
Oh, thank you so much, Robert. Yes, you did this. You brought out seedlings of beautiful trees to hand out on Earth Day. And by doing that, you are teaching the children to put back into the earth what has been taken out of the earth, right? The trees have been devastated, and we need those trees.
Yeah.
We need the old growth forest. And doing what you're doing, and also writing letters to your local MP and encourage them to take that letter to the top. That's the Prime Minister of Canada.
Coast to coast, just about every Indigenous nation across the country has some version of bannock. How do we make this?
Well, we're going to make this by the method I have created almost 30 years ago called Bannock Focaccia. And in my language, just repeat after me, it's called flax. Flax. Every region, every nation has their own version of their grandmother's favorite bannock. And it started in South Dakota with corn. As it comes up north, it graduates with different ingredients. Some use lard, some use milk, some use different types of flour, from corn to flour to now organic and vegan. So it's changing in that. So we're going to do my method, which is the Bannock Focaccia today, okay?
Cool.
All right. Our oven is already preheated at
350 degrees.
Exactly. And so we have
4 cups of flour.
You can put that in the bowl. That's great. And then how much baking powder?
2 tablespoons.
1 teaspoon of salt. And we've got a half a teaspoon of sugar. So now we are done with the dry ingredients. So we'll just put this aside, Robert, and now we have
2 cups of water.
Okay. And in that, we're going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we need 1 large egg. But today we're going to substitute the egg. You made chia seeds.
Yeah.
Why did you do the chia seeds?
I didn't want to harm any chickens, so
Right.
I used a substitution.
And so that's chia seeds.
Yep.
So this is equivalent of 1 large egg, right?
Yep.
We just take the bowl and you just turn it around so to mix up all the ingredients. And then what you do is you make a hole in the center. Then you're going to slowly pour all of the wet ingredients into the dry. So we just turn the bowl as we are mixing the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. And when you're mixing it, it's going to form a nice ball. And then with the palm of your hand, you're going to just pat it down like this. And this is just going to form a nice ball. And then what we need is to have the pan ready. Just put it there. That's fine. And now I'm just going to take from there to there that fast. Now what I'm going to do is flatten it a bit. And we're going to make little holes. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we take our olive oil and we're going to drizzle it. Take your hand like mine. I'm just patting the olive oil into the holes.
All right.
See that? Okay, you finished the rest.
You are a chef by trade, but became an activist the day you heard about the RCMP raiding an anti-pipeline camp and arresting 14 land offenders peacefully protesting on the Wet'suwet'en territory at the Gidimint camp in British Columbia. They were protesting the coastal GasLink pipeline route, which would cut through the heart of the 22,000-kilometer Wet'suwet'en land, crossing wetlands, cultural sites, and the Wedzen-Kwa River. RBC is still funding this, and Coastal GasLink says it will be built by the end of the year. 200 lawyers and legal scholars agree the RCMP violated the law when they deployed over over 100 tactical officers who jailed and brutalized protesters. How can kids stop this pipeline?
We are the caretakers of the land since time immemorial, and we want to have that pristine. In the Whisk River, what is being hampered right now is our salmon. It's the spawning time. So this is the crucial time where the pipeline now is finished. It has gone under the Whisk River. It has had 2 spillage, and that is very dangerous. This is our drinking water, and it is very crucial to write those letters to the MP and also to Prime Minister Trudeau himself. Just like what you did at the United Nations. Remember? You read this letter to the world, and you said, "Dear grown-ups," and just saying it, you are speaking on behalf of 2 billion children, and just state exactly what you want with the trees, the rivers to put back to where it was, and the land to be kept with the Indigenous people.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, the bannock is ready to go in the oven.
All right, let's do that. So we've got our bannock oven ready. We're going to stop for now and put this into the oven.
Yep.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to put the timer on for 30 minutes.
The UN says climate change poses threats and dangers to the survival of Indigenous communities worldwide, even though Indigenous peoples contribute the least to greenhouse emissions. I learned that Indigenous peoples safeguard an estimated 80% of the world's remaining biodiversity. We need to celebrate Indigenous land defenders, but instead they face racism and discrimination every day. What do you wish more people knew about the Indigenous people of Canada's struggle to protect our beautiful planet?
Well, Indigenous people make up 6.2% of the world population, Robert, and account for 90% of the world's poor. Yet they're responsible for maintaining 80% of the biodiversity of this planet. We Indigenous people have been stewarding the lands and the water with care, and it is what we have to continue doing.
Yeah. You are currently filming a movie about systemic racism, which leads to environmental racism, like tar sands, pipelines, landfills, incinerators, and hazardous waste disposal being disproportionately placed in Indigenous and communities of color. All of these things injure the culture, the health, and the happiness of the people living there.
All of the pipelines and all of the extractions and all of the trees from the land, anything you take, it is injuring the land, and it is systemic racism itself. And it's what we're fighting for right now. It's called environmental racism. You stated in that letter to United Nations you want clean air, you like trees, and you like birds in the trees. That's how we want to keep it and maintain it. By maintaining it, we'll have it for Robert's grandchildren.
Yeah.
That's what we're striving for. It's for you, which is the 8th generation we're doing this for.
As of February this year, there were still 32 long-term boil water advisories in 28 Indigenous communities in Canada. Some of these have been in place for 25 years. When we met, we talked about the Wet'suwet'en word for respect, wagus. Environmental racism is about a lack of respect for people and the planet. Okay, the bannock is ready. Should we try it?
Yes, you're going to take it out of the oven now?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's hot.
That's a nice big piece for you, Robert. This has been an awesome conversation, Robert. I really appreciate it. We had fun dinner. We making bannock. And what did we say? You never panic. You know why?
Yeah.
Because there's always bannock.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. And remember, together kids to save the world. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert. Take care.